Delinquents also for here. Roar! And today I want to talk about, would I be happier if I was like a massive racist freak? Now, that does seem like a very weird question based off all my other opinions I've had. But it's not basically like, it's kind of a debate. I actually don't think I am, or would be happier. It's kind of just basing off the assumption that, also this game's kind of loud, I want to turn it down. But it's based off the assumption that every time I hear anyone talk about like, oh, I don't care about inappropriate jokes that are just racism. I don't care about this woke propaganda. I'll just keep staying happy and belligerent. They give us off this idea that they're just very, because they're so unwoke, that they lead a truly happy life compared to someone who actually cares about people. Mostly because it's like, oh, you don't find anything funny. You will be miserable for all your life because of this and that. I don't believe this for two reasons. The first one is the type of people you always see put this out is cis white straight people. Now, I'm going to be woke. You might be surprised when I say that. Not really. But it's just a large amount of privilege that allows you to have such negligence for social situations. It's like you're straight, so no racism affects you ever. You're straight, no homophobia affects you ever. You're cis, so there's no any sort of bigotry really you can ever experience. Any sort of like you always see why people say, "Oh, I've been prosecuted against because I'm straight." But every time that happens, it's just a situation where someone's just kind of mean to you because you're a cunt. And granted, there is people who do have some opinions on you, on white people in general, but that is not based through racism. It's based through the fact that history kind of does. Oh, Jesus, that was really close. But that's just based off the fact that, a lot of people are right of white people once because they do hold such systemic that holds such systemic power. Like, it's like when people are scared of cops and etc. But that's not really what I'm trying to argue right now. What I'm talking about is how being white, straight, and cis allows people to have such a stupid opinion because they don't ever have to worry about anything. Don't know why I tried to do that. I don't know why I tried to duel him with a Glock. But no, so that's the first point. The fact that everyone who says this obviously follows the same pattern. And if it's someone who isn't, normally it's someone who's actually quite famous for being a right-wing freak. But I guess to say that because they kind of benefit from the fact that they are normally kind of like the person that racist people look to go, oh, I'm not racist, I enjoy this Asian or this Mexican or this like any ethnic sort of comedian that gets to be inappropriate and like allows me to laugh at stuff that if a white person said it, I'd be called racist for. That's basically why I think a lot of ethnic right-wing comedians get to have such a platform because racists don't agree with you just because of who you are born as, but because you get to be their like go to like, oh, I'm not racist, I like this guy. It kind of allows them to have a marketplace in which it's like it's obvious that you are being used just for your race, just like how they don't like people for your race. Like you're just like a commodity to them. I did not expect him camping around the left side of the corner, but no, you're just a commodity and you're being used. The second point is, the kind of people that would say that they're so unwelcome they don't care about opinions aren't the ones that would be saying this online. To say online, you need a social media account. Normally, for an opinion to be seen by people like me who don't engage with anything like it, they would have to be quite big. The kind of people that have such big accounts, you obviously see all the comments calling you out for being a terrible person. And it's obvious that you do care. Because if you truly didn't care and was loved to live in ignorance, you wouldn't have ever need to make that sort of statement. That kind of leads me on to the main idea I get from this. Does ignorance allow you to live a happy life? For a lot of times, ignorance is bliss. Like, if you knew everything about the company you worked at, like if you knew all the financial records, you'd get maybe stressed. Like you see one bad quarter and you'd get really stressed out and stuff. normally ignorance is bliss is if you're an overthinker. If you aren't one, I know I am. And if I knew everything about everything, it would be exponentially horrendous. Not only if something was going bad, but seeing how rich people are just abusing the world, it would make me feel very nihilistic about life and probably end up blowing my brains out. But that's kind of like an extreme thing which no one can really relate to, or should relate to. So ignorance, ironically, probably is a level of bliss, but to be blissful and ignorant of such social and social and economic things just means you have privilege to do so. You have the privilege to do so. Um, you know what people say? If you don't talk about it, you agree with it. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's not fair. But it's not unfair of a statement to make. If you see someone being racist and you say nothing about it, you are enabling them to be like this because they suffer no consequences, which you yourself become liable for that. It's like in law, in which if you knew someone was going to do a crime or murder someone and you don't do anything, you do become liable for said action. And I think it's the exact same thing when it comes to being ignorant about social things. If you are ignorant and you're aware of it, but you don't care because it doesn't affect your way of life, not because you're just white, you are allowing this to happen. It's like people who don't care about anything don't care. Like, they don't care. That's what being ignorant is. You don't care. By not caring, you're saying, that's fine, because I don't care. And a lot of time you do see it being mostly white people doing this. There is a time where there is my other minority groups that also fit into this I don't care. A lot of the time, it is predominantly whites, but there is sometimes a few ethnic people that do also go into this, and oh, and you could like I don't want to make an assumption based off why they do it. Jesus, but I think I would assume that most of the times it's not to like get favor with them because it's kind of like degrading to me to say, oh, you only think this way so you can look good to white people. But it's definitely a lot of when Trump was trying to get elected, a lot of ethnic people would also throw their vote out to them. A lot of it was business owners. Obviously, you can see how that went. That went horrendously. But it's very obvious that a lot of people were doing it to like, because they were part of this right-wing group. And they're like, oh, I want to look good to other people. Or having the same opinions of them. Trying to like be a part of the group. I mean, I was never going to win this round. I was on 5 HP. Wait, I can die. Well, I wasted my money. But no, I think this shit is terrible. I think if you are ignorant, you're just complacent. And complacency means you're a terrible person, unironically. And a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't... There shouldn't be any divide in the world because... Well, there shouldn't be any divide in the world, unironically. But as long as people are hoping that people can live not well in life... Yo! Did this guy not die? Anyways, if you're complacent and you're a terrible person, I don't care calling people terrible if they're terrible. Don't like the dinosaur 4 out.